Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your 2026 forecast. We're going to be looking over the entire year for the most important features of what you can come to expect. So get your notebooks out and get your pen because we're going to be keying in a few dates that might be worthwhile for you to check as you go along throughout the coming year. I typically always like to start with the transit of Mars, and why is that? Well, Mars has no retrogrades for one in the entire year of 26. It's going to be moving forward with full force, and this is why I want you to pay attention throughout the year to see where your dynamic energy is, where you can use and maximize the energy of Mars in the coming months. So you're starting off end of 2025 with Mars in your second house for money. So here, December, yep, you're kind of getting all your ducks in a row and looking at your income, maybe planning for the coming year and whatnot. But Mars is focused on your values. Second house is money, but it's also the values that you hold. It's your sense of worth. And being in the sign of Capricorn, it's the goals that you set, right? So it starts off top of the year, 12 degrees in Capricorn. It's going to move 8 houses throughout your solar chart, ending up 9 degrees in Virgo in your 10th house for career. So those areas, typically it stays in a sign for approximately 6 weeks at a time. Starting off in your financial, it's going to go through 3rd house for communication, presentations, your communication with your neighbors and so forth, and 4th house, family, foundation, properties and so forth. 5th house next has to do with your self-expression, your creativity, but also your engagement with your children. And there is love. 5th house also projects love. Moving on to the 6th house of your day-to-day routine, your health, diet, and so forth. Moving forward to 7th house of relationships, marriage, anybody you work with, closely one-on-one. Mars is going to be focusing on it for those 6 weeks. Moving into the 8th house, about your finances. Not necessarily your income in that sense, it's more your savings, investments, royalties, commissions, all of that. How you can set it up for the coming year will be focused there for a 6-week period. 9th house is studying, it's research, diving into all those rabbit holes, right? Philosophy and long distance travel, planning for it or going, only to end up in your career house there in end of the year. So for that, I would like to say that Mars is your driving motor, your onboard motor. Then we're going to be focusing on Jupiter this year. And why do I say that? Well, you've had it in your 8th house for money here in 2025. Many of you might have found yourself looking into how you can expand this area of royalties and commissions, or also been looking at your investments, or you're doing bitcoins, that kind of thing, tweaking your mortgage, or maybe refinancing, anything that could set you up better. So 2025 has been a blessing for you in that sense if you use the energy correctly. Now, it starts off top of the year retrograde, which it will be in the sign of Cancer, mind you, in your 8th house, until March 11th. The retrograde period will then be over, and you're going to be able to start moving forward again until July 1st, Sagittarius. And what's going to take place then? It's changing sign into the sign of Leo and your 9th house. Now, it rules the 9th house, so it's kind of like a double whammy for you. I really love it because it's bringing out all that fire energy. The 9th house, again, long distance travel or anything that's taking place at distance. You might be planning or you might be signing up for some kind of beautiful trip, vacation there, summertime. 9th house is also maybe going back to school or taking on a class. It's expanding your education. It's expanding your higher sense of self and spirituality and so forth. So this is a great time to see how your mind is going to grow, and it's going to be there for a year. As you know, Sagittarius, Jupiter always brings us blessings and opportunities. So pay attention in this area of your life. just to see what it can bring to the table, so you have your options, your choices, and whatnot, so you can expand this. It only goes through this portion of your chart. And remember, though, in the back of your mind, the ninth house is preparing for what will show up the following year when it moves into your 10th house of career. So maybe some of you are going to dive deep into some kind of studies that can prepare you to make the most out of your career in that following year of 2027. Just to have that said. Now, we have retrogrades 3 times a year, Sagittarius, and the first one starts up February 26th to March 21st in the sign of Aquarius. For you, it's showing up in that 3rd house of communication. This is where we can meet our challenges. For you, the 3rd house is all about presentations, how you come across, what you express, maybe what you're lacking of expressing, or maybe it's how you're listening to the people you are communicating with. So we can always expect, like with any retrograde, that there can be a little mishap or delays or miscommunications. So let's tune in our ears. Are we listening to what people are sharing with us in this 3.5-week period? Or are you making sure that they're hearing you, right? With what's important for you to correct or balance up. And there's always things from the past that pretty much shows up at this time. The second retrograde of Mercury this year will be in your 8th house in the sign of Cancer. This will show up June 30th through July 24th. 8th house. So anything with money or savings and so forth, money that you have shared with your partner or anybody else, I would say, since it is money house, and you know how we've always said, be careful signing any contracts, right? It's not a good time because any contract can turn around before the 3.5-week period is over. But especially in a financial house, we definitely do want to be careful what contracts we sign. You might be looking at wanting to purchase something big, say a home, or you're wanting to refinance your mortgage. Not the best time. Be aware, June 30th through July 24th. I would wait to afterwards if you didn't get it done prior. Now, the exception is if you already had started before the retrograde starts, June 30th, well, you can move forward, but move forward with caution. Pay attention to the little writing, right? Third and last retrograde of the year, 12th house in the sign of Scorpio, nonetheless. This is going to be in October 24th, through November 14th. This is your 12th house, so here it's a little bit more subtle, runs in the background in your subconsciousness or straight to your intuition. There might be things surfacing here that may rise where you intuitively will feel it's not out in the open per se, but there could be unsettled things from the past that may start welling up, before you go to sleep. Your mind might be roaming, and then you're seeing this, and that. It's like, ooh, that doesn't really sit too well. Maybe something needs healing, and you're looking in at it. And it's time to really do a deep clean subconsciously at this period. So when I move on from here, I have to say, though, the 3 outer planets are probably equal or even more so important than our inner planets that run from the sun out straight to Saturn. That rules our 3D consciousness, the here and now, and all our do's and don'ts and whatnot, our actions, it's our physical body, all that. But I always love to pay attention to those outer 3 planets. And why do I do that, Sagittarius? Well, they're a part of our higher consciousness. We're not just human beings with a spiritual experience. We're actually, in all reality, spiritual beings, diving in to planet Earth to have a human experience. So this is where we're guided from the higher levels of consciousness, interacting with our guides, our spiritual guides in higher dimensions. So now these 3, they're going to be changing signs all in this year. And that's huge. They're huge because they move so slowly and their orbits are so far away from each other. So for them to line up and to change it, for all of us, we're talking globally here. So we're going to feel not just a wave, we're going to feel a tsunami In 2026, that's going to take front stage everywhere, and politically, nationally, but also down to the individual level, right? So Uranus is the first one we're going to talk about. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. And I want to pay a little extra attention here when I share with you what that is and how it works. Mercury, as you know, is all about communication, but it's linear. It's the way we think, the way we talk. If I'm going to express and convey a picture on the wall, I have to use a lot of words to make you see what I'm seeing, right? That's slow. Now, Uranus will take one look at it and give you a snapshot information all at once, instant download. Now, Uranus has been moving through the sign of Taurus here for the last 8 years, and a lot of Taurian people have been changing up their value system because that's what that is. But we all have Taurus somewhere in our chart. For you, it's been moving through your 6th house of your day-to-day routines. You might have seen how that's been fluctuating up and down. You might have seen how your weight has been fluctuating up and down since it rules our physical body, diets, how we eat, how we work out, that kind of thing. So that fluctuation is going to end and move into your 7th house. So be prepared, Sagittarius, until 2023. So it's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen all overnight, right? But it will change up the way you interact with your partners. If you're married, it will be your spouse. If you're single, it's really going to bring a lot to the table as far as dating, how you date, how you come across. It starts off retrograde 27 degrees in your 6th house, and it will go direct, let me see here, February 4th. Let me just check that again. Yep, February 4th. So then it's going to be direct, moving into that 7th house of yours until, let me see, 11th of September 11th. Then it's going to retrograde. So between February 2nd until September 11th, you're going to have a direct hit on Uranus in your 7th house, especially for those of you who were born a little early there in Sagittarius. You will feel that first and foremost. And it's exciting though. Uranus is all about change. If we don't have change, we're going to just be stifled in old formats and whatnot. So that's going to break free. It's really liberating in so many ways. It could be the way you're going to be communicating. Why? Because it's moving into that sign of Gemini, which is all about communication, right? Uranus is all about exploration. So you might explore various avenues of how to communicate with your partner to change things up. It's very electrifying, the energy of Uranus. So it can be totally exciting. Like I said, you will see this as a gradual change between now and that to 2023. Now, 2033. Excuse me. Next planet up is Neptune. What do we love about Neptune? Well, it's the higher octave of Venus, so it's about love. But we're not just talking physical love. That's more Venus. This is the higher love, the higher dimension of love, coming from the heart. The heart chakra and up, out. The 3 outer planets are all about the upper chakras in our consciousness. This is where we're going to be growing and expanding and spiritualizing who we truly are at an authentic level. That Neptune for you has been in your 4th house for home and family. You might and foundation. So for very many years, we can probably go back 15 years, you've been researching the grounds, the deeper grounds of your beingness. Those foundations have spiritualized. You've been more idealistic on what you want to bring forward and bring out to the world. But now you're going to have a beautiful experience when it moves into your 5th house of self-expression and creativity. So I can just foresee so many of you Sagittarians really bringing that creative juice that you already have, but now it's going to come out. You're going to be sharing it, right? And expressing it, and it will really not just want to be a wish or I'd love to do this. No, you're going to feel it as a direct drive to do it. It's going to be time for you to bring it up and out. It is moving direct when we enter the year, and it will retrograde. Let me see here. It will be from July 2nd through December 13th. So you could say for the first half of the year, you're going to be able to test the waters. Dive in, don't hold back. Feel that creative energy really ruffling everything up to the surface. Then from July 2nd, at the end of the year, you can have a little bit of a break, a pause to kind of revisit and go back over what did I create, what did I bring out, how can I tweak it. And retrogrades are good for that. It allows us to redo and tweak. So we have to love and not fear these retrogrades. It gives us a little space to refine and perfect certain things. So that fifth house also rules children, so you might have more to do with your children, or maybe your children are coming into a very creative place in their own lives where you can come step in and be supportive and be proud of them to really express their authentic selves. The last one is Pluto, and you've probably all heard about Pluto changing signs from Capricorn into Aquarius. It has been really ruffling your feathers for the last 15 or plus years, hasn't it, Sagittarius? Pluto can be rough, but not to be negative, not to be hard on us, even though it's experienced as hard. Pluto will tear down anything in order to rebuild. So, yes, with hand on my heart, I can totally say that it has been working in your second house for income, and you've seen the ups and downs of it. There might have been, quite a bit of struggle in between, but you know what? That is over. It's over. It starts out top of the year here for you now, already being in the sign of Aquarius, which is good. So you're out of the heartache of it, where you're going to be working now for many, 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 many years to come. It being in Aquarius is your third house, which is totally different from your financial house. So I'm thinking that you've set the foundation for your finances pretty well now, at least in a stable manner, so you know what you have, what's coming and going, in and out. But third is all about communication. How you're going to communicate, what you're going to be communicating. And being in the sign of Aquarius is all about the extraordinary, right? Everything that's outside of the box. It's been in Capricorn, which is totally in the box. Aquarius is the opposite, 180 degrees out of the box. What are you going to be communicating? It's different. Uranus can be detached in very many ways, but only so that it can cover a lot of things. It can be detached from certain things, but what it focuses on is the grassroots of people. Humanitarian aspects. It's about the future. It's about inventions. So if you've been sitting on a few patents and wanting to get that out there, this would be the time to get your patents out there, because some of you are just plain old geniuses, Sagittarius, right? How do you want to bring it out to the world? How are you going to package it? And bring these ideas. Aquarius is always brilliant, brilliant ideas. So even though you're Sagittarius, don't be fooled to not pay attention to Pluto being in this sign, in this placement of your chart. All right, so do your thing. Go spin your magic. I really love it. And I would say before I let you go too, is to listen to your moon or rising sign for 2026. That's going to give you equally as much insight as to what the year can bring you as this solar chart does. And last but not least, take a real good look at your own natal chart with the transits to see exactly where you individually, not just collectively stand, but individually stand. So I'll let you go with this. I'd love to hear from you. Haven't been on here for a long time, so please put your comments down below. I'll answer all your questions and whatnot, and love to interact with you. So have a good one, Sagittarius. Be blessed in 2026.